My name is Anthony Paul Robinson. Ali Azad. I've learned very hard lessons about something like biology. Very heavily that. James P. Dowling keeps thinking he knows a great deal about it, but in reality he doesn't. I do. I do the hard genetics. And I fail to take a real hard look at myself to see kind of like a menacing Burning Man face these days. If you have genetics, whatever genetics you got, it can overrun you by the time you get to be 18 to 28. By the time you're 42 to 49, you're overtaken to be what you represent as far as culture. Even if it's based on sentiment. That's what I was always taught by my teachers. And I'm a doctorate in Confucianism. Said to be the only doctorate in Confucianism. As at Cal D. As basically overall an Italian. Because I'm an old Italian, I'm a Chaldee. Basically, a proto-European. But no, it's basically a ultra-Semite. And when you're haplogroup X, psychopathy overtakes you like a storm. You get to be this age of 28. It happened to me back in 2020, a forerunner to this year. I was basically a classic Italian. Ja, for det selv stod til sig for der var der for der eller så der de var for det var så og det er simpelthen så biology is basically the name of the game. Where's that time with the most is basically the concept of the Sigma male. I am haplogroup X. I can hardly see whatsoever. I can hardly perceive anything. It's basically, no matter what I've done to actually try to work my way out of a diagnosis called autism, well, I failed to do that. Whenever I've tried getting better, I always found myself reaching to where I'm educated into. And I'll show you these books. Not everyone can have them. Here's who I am. A liberal arts master, a chiropractic, a hypnotherapist, a yogi, a trained yogi, a trained existential psychologist, a pioneer in existential psychology, and a Muslim teacher. I'm also a Catholic saint. And what is my haplogroup? Haplogroup X. Sigma males can have even worse. They can have many haplogroups. They can be Americans, but basically live in enclaves for a long time. I know a man that actually lives around this area. He does self-actualization. He's a developed Sigma male. And guess what he is? The same haplogroup as, believe it or not, me. I entertained for something much greater than myself. Basically, to actualize myself a lot better. In some respects, I succeeded. And at the same time, genetics literally hurts me emotionally. Because I'm from Iran. As an Italian. And not a modern day Italian per se, but an Italian Chaldee. And when I have this awareness, when I step out of psychopathy completely, and the light takes over, I'm heavily hurt emotionally. By this society, by this culture, America, that created lousy pseudo musicians that don't play their instruments whatsoever. And the result is the band Biohazard. But I still refuse to cave into such harsh realities. While at the same time refuse to rebuke it with woe is me. I'm a very self-pitiful person. Because I'm known to have long hair. I can show you photos of myself when I had short hair. And I would still be portrayed as a man with long hair. And here's what I refuse to do. Cave into any anti-Americanism whatsoever. I absolutely refuse to cave into anti-Americanism. Because America is supposed to be a new world aristocracy of new world races that belong more to America. Here's the thing about me. I'm haplogroup X. I can't be an American. I very heavily am tormented by exactly how shifty I am as a person. And I feel like I'm constantly slipping away. This speaks for itself. Many of you guys are Sigma males. I don't feel impressed by you guys because you guys are such, and you guys refuse to actually practice something like basic self-care. Basic hygiene. I mean, look at me. I'll show you this look if you guys are very familiar. Self-awareness is not enough. You have to separate from ego. I exceed in self-knowledge. I barely succeed in actually stepping out of it. Well, creating ego that I'm wounded because I never had serious youth. And here's kind of proof of this. And I'll show you guys an example of basically this. I've always tried to keep my room right, and yet I still hoard clothes. All the time. I still hoard clothes. I'm possessive of one guitar only, the Washburn guitar. That's what I'm possessive of. It's to avoid sexual relations with a woman that you love. Men, don't underestimate the reality that you're incomplete without a woman. Don't underestimate that. You guys are genetically, biologically hardwired for fulfillment. Do not underestimate the reptilian brain or the reptilian minor. Never underestimate the fact that there's no such thing as easy solutions to actually evolving. I refuse to cave into poor health. And this is not wishful thinking. This is actual remorse and actual need for self-care. It's a very nightmarish thing to be a Sigma male. If you don't have the books or know how to actually walk by source. This is something that I've been stressing in my Urdu videos. You can call it Farsi, or Urdu, or I guess Pro-Italian or Albanian. This is basically why I don't take on opportunities to talk to people. Unless if they're purely social. This is not about innocence. This is actually about trying to find inner humanity that Gurdjieff talked about. I'm not a guy that gives eye contact, and even worse, I have blurred vision. I completely take over spontaneously without foreknowledge of it. How to actually discipline that into something like abductive reasoning is a very tricky thing. It's even worse when I write in total practice esoteric cursive. I can't even call it a real language other than Chaldees speak. Fine.